Howdy, folks. Welcome to Retsutalk episode 52. I am Diabetus, and with me, as always, is Slowbeef, former mod of Let's Play.
Hello, how are you?
How's the non-modhood treating you nowadays?
You know, it's good. I finally stopped going to the mod forum and getting the permission denied page now.
You've stopped having the urge to go to the URL?
I should say it stopped happening 5 times a day, and now it's down to 4. So, progress. Baby steps. Baby steps.
Do you ever just look at the page and sigh?
No. No. It's more like, no, it is a sigh, but one of relief is the thing.
So how go you said one of your central goals when you resigned modhood was to contribute more to the community as a whole.
Yeah.
What have you been up to in that regard? Besides playing Dark Souls?
Oh, nothing. No. Okay. I've posted in the Sandcastle once or twice. Actually, it's funny. I'm forgetting the poster. It's a friend of Occultatio's. Did in a Let's Play of XCOM, or a test post for XCOM that included a scare cam.
Oh, yeah?
So everybody hated it, right? And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I was like, you're dead set on it. You sound like you really want to do it. It's Mott 514. This would be his third Let's Play on something awful. He included a scare cam of himself. He wanted some more goons to do it. And I was just like, you know what? Enough. Go ahead. Try it. Whatever. You know, because...
like your opinion matters anymore.
Well, that's... You know what the thing is? It's kind of funny is I almost feel freer to say this stuff in a way.
Because you're not speaking from a position of faux authority anymore?
That's exactly it. People... I don't know. It's weird because when you want to express an opinion like that and you have that fake non-authority, people kind of take that as like the word of law, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah,
so then
that's
it's like,
the final say, the end.
Yeah, silence is discussion. I mean, if not everyone. There is always your person who's like, no, I disagree or whatever. And that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, for the most part, it's tough to express an opinion or tell people to take risks per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So good luck, Geop.
Exactly, yeah. Chip Cheesem did probate somebody, though, so he's doing something.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
See, my instincts was that he was too meek of a personality to be a mod, to assert himself. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Chip.
You've been
I
saying...
know you're listening to this.
It's funny, you've been talking so much shit about Chip Cheesem before and after.
Yeah, I mean, just before this podcast. I mean, I'm loaded.
You know, I asked him today, I said, let's do some more D&D, Dungeon World kind of stuff, because I think we should do that.
If you're not too busy.
I'm not busy anymore, man. I'm good.
No, if Chip's not too busy.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Well, if not...
he's kind of drowning in that mod pussy.
Whoa, hey now. Hey, if we can't get him, we can get our celebrity friends, you know?
To come back for a second go-around?
That's right, maybe that, or, not all of them. That Northern Lion guy's a little too aloof for me.
That Sterling fella totally ditched us.
He mentioned...
And did some beat poetry about it.
Yeah, he mentioned it on, what is it? Jim and Yahtzee's Rhyme Down Spectacular on The Escapist.
I found out that was a thing today.
Yeah, I described it as it's like a beat poetry thing. I was like, it's kind of like rap for nerdy white people from England who like video games.
Huge genre.
Right, basically.
Yeah.
But, you know, to be fair, I mean, this is a fucking Let's Play / video game based podcast, so I don't know who the fuck I'm calling nerdy, but, you know, whatever.
Look, we don't limit ourselves. Okay? I don't limit ourselves to one little measly Let's Play genre.
It's called an ivory tower, is the thing.
We cover the gamut.
Yeah.
All the hot topics that the mainstream media are too scared to address.
Statler and Waldorf did not sit in the audience with everyone else, unless they did.
Right.
Right. No. Okay. Well, I don't know enough about the Muppets either. Okay. I am a sham. But anyway, yeah. So Sterling, we had to reschedule. Pat from Two Best Friends is still coming on. We've had requests for Northern Lion and All Sham No Wow. I don't know one bad guest we've had. I would have them all back at once, promoting our channel the whole time, just saying the word retsupurae over and over again.
I'm down.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, though. Enough BS about podcasts. Let's get to the real deal heart of the matter.
What's on your mind?
Well, we have an agenda here. We have some bullet points.
Oh, yes. Which we always follow along with so well.
Absolutely. Well, last week we talked a bit about copyright stuff and things like that. And both fronts we mentioned, the devs behind Guys of the Wolf, apparently backed down. And
the fun creators?
That's right.
Yeah, well, there's some corrections to be had on that front. At the time, we thought our best guess was that it was some former employee gone rogue.
Mm-hmm.
But information that came out after the fact turns out it was actually them.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
And they have a Twitter page, and their tweets during the ordeal made very little sense.
Yeah. Basically, it was some really, 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 really shitty, stupid PR on their front and some miscommunication within the company. This isn't a journalism kind of podcast, so, I mean, I don't know what about it is. I don't think anything is privileged information. I think probably everything you know about it is the case, but yeah, it was just apparently a massive, massive fuck up on Fun Creator's part.
No Total Biscuit, sorry. After this email's game, please contact us directly and let's have 2 trusted people to be CC'd, agree?
Yeah, so what?
That tweet had 143 replies, probably all saying, huh?
Yeah, so at one point, apparently Total Biscuit was like, let's get lawyers involved for real. And Fun Creators is like, no, let's have... the way I parsed that tweet is, what if we had an arbiter? We go through some sort of Twitter arbitration.
And that's when they called you up.
Yeah, basically. So I mediated that.
Put back on that mod helm again, one last time.
I was about to say moderated that because I cannot let go.
And to think I was just 10 days from mod retirement. But I got one last job.
It's so weird. The day I quit something awful, my job was like, you are now computer programming moderator. And they gave me a hat.
Congratulations. Did that create fun?
No, it did not, because Diabetus was terrible. And the other thing is, King did back off from their trademark kind of deal.
Yeah, after only tons and tons of negative press.
Yeah, basically.
But they're still pursuing it in the Euro region, are they not?
Oh, I did hear something about that. That's right. They withdrew it in the United States, and then, they're going after it, and they're still going after it in the UK, I believe.
So whatever the French word for candy is, Italian, Swedish, etc.
Well, the thing is, they all combined into Euro candy, so now it's just one portmanteau. Is it one, really? I don't know.
Gesundheit?
It's one word that's glommed together from a prefix in another word. I'm intelligent.
Guten chocolate?
Something like that.
Maybe.
Absolutely. Oh, we've uploaded some videos and things like that. But on my account, I'm uploading more Dark Souls, as you know.
Mm-hmm. Same.
That's right. You're doing a stream of it you've done streams of it, and that you're uploading to your account.
Different styles.
And your account is youtube.com/user/slowbeef. If anyone's looking for it.
Yeah.
No, but it's funny because I have learned a lot more about the Dark Souls fandom than I quite frankly ever wanted to know.
Well, that's what happens when you let people publicly comment on your videos on a YouTube website.
This is kind of funny you say that. That actually happened to come up today with someone else I was talking to. But...
You just talk about Dark Souls all day?
Yeah,
with your coworkers?
I do, absolutely. Family. My wife can't get enough of it.
Great.
The YouTube comments thing. But before that, one of the more interesting pieces of feedback I've gotten is
You suck!
Yes. I'm apparently terrible at Dark Souls. Although other people seem to think, no, most people kind of forget, their first time playing it.
People like to mask their first time.
Well, the thing I don't quite understand, and I forget, correct me if I've said this before, but it's this is a game kind of renowned for extremely hard difficulty and a very high learning curve.
Correct.
So, when you're not good at it your first time, is not to be expected?
No, not if you're elite gamer.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Let me take this opportunity to tell you what I did better my first time.
Well,
and post about it on every video you upload.
It's completely kind of crazy too, which people have brought up. So even disregarding that, even if I were very bad at Dark Souls, some people I noticed were like, wow, retsupurae makes fun of other people's videos, but, slowbeef's not good at Dark Souls. And it's if all
Retsupurae the video then.
Yeah, well, actually, I did say that to a couple of people.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, no, I was like, please, feel free. I'm not above anything. Go for it.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're more than welcome to. It's not like just because we talk over video games that everything we do is perfect.
No, but not only that, but I don't think the major takeaway from retsupurae is that we make fun of gameplay, meaning it's more like that video you uploaded, I'm not quite sure why you did.
Heaven forbid we ever design our own video game.
Oh, I know, really, it'll be crazy. But you know what I mean, it's like, I don't know. So, if that's what you took away from retsupurae when you watched it, like, that we're excellent speedrunners who look down on people who don't play at our level, are you sure you watched our channel? And if, maybe watch it again. Maybe there's something else to it. I don't know. But, internet.
That's basically it.
Yeah, that was just a small portion of things. The bigger thing is I got a meme somewhere on Reddit r gaming inadvertently.
You got a meme?
Or somebody made a GIF of one of my deaths of it, and titled the title of
Ornstein and Smile thing.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen this, the name of it is Welcome to Dark Souls. I put the video of it up on my channel, and what it is so I guess for people unfamiliar with Dark Souls, should I go into that? Yeah, I'll do it from that perspective in case you've not played. There's a particularly hard boss in the game, and and the boss has like a dash attack, right, where you can kind of zip across the room and hit you. Okay. In Dark Souls, you get these things like boss doors, more or less. They're fog walls that your character slowly steps through. It's a canned animation. Before this particular boss fight, there's a big thing called a Royal Sentinel, a big guy with a spear who kind of tries to hit you, and so it's my second time going to this boss. I'm trying to run around the Royal Sentinel. He hits me a couple times. Now my plan is I'm going to run in the boss room as fast as I can. I know that guy's going to come quickly, so I'm going to hide behind a thing and heal. Okay. Dark Souls, so what happens is I go through the fog door, canned animation. Toward the end of the animation, the Sentinel guy with the big spear clips through the wall, hits me, so I'm stunned, and then the boss does the dash attack and hits me again the minute I'm out of stun, killing me.
Come on, he doesn't clip through. It's a wall of fog.
But, well, hold on.
Dark Souls is perfect.
Enemies, but I'm just saying, I did see people contend it's not a bug, it's a design thing. Total disagreements. Well, hold on. Can the enemies...
Based on what?
The enemies can't walk...
It's supposed to be hard.
The enemies can't walk through the walls, right? The fog walls. So you're telling me that this was a conscious design decision to say, in this whole boss arena, we maybe want a previous enemy to be able to stick a spear through a door that comprises 2% of the whole arena in an area you probably shouldn't be sticking around anyway, just in case a player decides to hide there, even though they wouldn't be safe from the boss anyway if they would.
I've seen other big enemies clip through actual walls as well.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It happens. And it's not the only bug I've encountered in my playthrough of Dark Souls. There's a tree right by Firelink Shrine I got stuck in twice. There's which I thought was funny. I didn't post this, but I still have the footage of it. My second or third time fighting Iron Golem, he hits me with like a downward attack. I don't think it was the axe. I think he stomped on me or something. My character clipped through the floor, died immediately, even though I had full health.
Totally intentional.
Yeah. Now, I don't want you to hear me say that and think I'm saying Dark Souls is a buggy game, because it's fucking vast, and it's a QA person's nightmare. And as a developer, myself, like, I could totally understand these are, like, bugs that are very hard to reproduce. They don't happen very often. They don't hurt the gameplay experience at all, you know? They're just, like, one in a million.
Shit just happens sometimes.
Yeah, they're one in a million things you see in any AAA title nowadays, you know? Sometimes, like, a physics model just, like, doesn't intersect correctly with a wall and something happens. It's not a huge deal, you know? It's funny when it happens, and as long as it doesn't happen consistently or make it so you have to play the game a different way, no big deal. But anyway, this GIF got posted of me getting hit with the clipped thing, and the guy hit, you know, and the joke is kind of like, look how hard Dark Souls is. This guy walks right into a boss door, gets killed immediately.
Sure.
People fucking jumped on it, though. And they're like,
in what regard?
Well, a lot of them are like, see, this is why fucking people say Dark Souls is unfairly hard. This
No, it's not.
Well, I know. People are like, this is his fucking fault for walking in without full health. All right, you know, like, I guess
This is Reddit we're talking about?
Yeah. Also, it got put on, like, Cheeseburger, like, Cheez, whatever. Cheez, you know?
Is that a cat meme website?
Yeah, it's like a meme website.
Was Smile replaced with a cat hitting you?
More or less.
And then the spear hitting you was a cat claw?
Yeah. I mean,
it was like, meow died.
But just in my own defense, even if I had full health, what would have happened was that same thing would have happened and I just wouldn't have died. Dying kind of does add a funny little punchline to it.
It does.
You know, I mean, again, it happens once in a while in video games. I still like the game. It's got nothing to do with anything. It was a funny thing, you know?
Sure.
But people get really fucking mad, and it's like, another person said I faked it. Which is, and not just one person, by the way. A few people were like, oh, this is totally fake. Because what happened was I'm running from the Sentinel guy, so I kind of moved the camera to the side to see if he was behind me. And I was going to move it back to face the boss, obviously, except then I get hit and then I get killed. You know what I mean? It all happens.
Thousands of skeptics run to their internet basements to run their CSI labs on your post.
Right. It's only my second time fighting the boss. I don't, whatever. So, but first of all, I mean...
You faked it?
How? Why? It's not that...
I have a great idea for a joke on this 2-plus-year-old video game.
Here's what I'll do. I'll get a Dark Souls mod for the PlayStation 3 somehow, position the enemies just so, move my camera, and that'll do it. Or, I'll play the game hundreds of times hoping that one specific thing happens.
Don't forget how you hacked your health to the exact appropriate amount you'd need.
Mm-hmm. Or I just stood there getting hit and reloading until I said, that's about right. And then I just happened to do it. That's amazing. And then the other crazy thing, too, is people are like, well, he's an idiot for doing that because he didn't have his camera pointed the right way. But no.
That wouldn't have changed anything, though.
No, I couldn't do
You had no
anything.
time to move once you went through the door.
Exactly. It's a canned animation. He got hit a couple frames after he stopped animating my character. There really was nothing I could have done, save for healing beforehand, and I guess expecting that to happen. And then, of course, again, people have to kind of wave their Dark Souls dick around, like, well, I never go through a fog door without full health. Like, okay, good, you're a fucking Dark Souls Boy Scout. Congratulations. It's
Here's
funny.
your humanity badge.
It's funny because I really thought I loved this game. Like, I mentioned this when I first started playing it, like, I was kind of blown away by it, and it was like, it made me feel like I was 10 years old playing The Legend of Zelda on the NES, like, because it's, like, so vast and explorative, and it kind of fucks with what you think is, from other video games you've played, you know?
But
now that I see how people act, I'm like, if that's what you become, I think I should take a break from I finished it, but, like, New Game Plus or something.
Yeah. It's just not a game that's really meant to be played, especially for a first time blind in front of a bunch of people. Because we had very different experiences, because I just played it in isolation on my PlayStation without ever posting it, and I loved it through and through.
No, I know. I mean, I love it through and through. I don't blame the game, really.
Yeah, but then my second playthrough of the game, this time playing it in a similar way that you were, I had fun with it because I discovered a whole lot of new things I didn't know about the game, but that was because of that interaction with the audience.
Yeah, and I like it to some degree. The problem is I didn't really know what to ask for. So, I got Dectalon and you telling me, like, you told me pretty much out in the open, like, here's how you unlock the DLC, which I'm fine with because I don't think I would.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm kind of curious about, though. They sell this DLC,
yeah,
but then I just don't get how you're expected to organically find where it begins with what you have to do. Maybe there's some clue in the game, but I'm pretty sure there's not as to how you go from A to B to C.
Can I pretend I'm a giant Dark Souls fan?
Please.
Of course you find the DLC. Don't you explore every fucking thing in every fucking area you walk in over and over and over again?
Well, I mean, I fought that Hydra once and looked behind the lake before I got the DLC, but there's nothing there, so there'd be no reason for me to...
You look behind the lake, I bet. Maybe if you look behind it, like, with walking, as in you walked around all the edges of the entire fucking map, that's really looking. fucking casual.
Yeah, but then after that, you have to go back to Duke's archive, and then there's a second golem there.
You're telling me that...
I wouldn't...
You're telling me you did not put every single area from Dark Souls in an array or a set, compute all the supersets, all the subsets of that, compute the superset ultimately, and iterate through them every time you found a new area? You're telling me you didn't do that and you think you fucking played Dark Souls, idiot?
Oh.
Well, god damn it.
Prepare to cry.
You cried. It's just phenomenal, though, like, how defensive people get about it, because...
Yeah, well, it just has such a reputation as being... See, there's a lot of things going on here.
Okay.
Dark Souls wasn't really meant to be, or was not, and Demon Souls, to be like a mainstream kind of game, because it caters to a very specific kind of audience. I don't want to say something pretentious like core gamer or hardcore gamer.
That's a stupid phrase.
But, it's not something that, everybody would want to play, but then it gets the reputation, people come out of the woodwork wanting to play it, then they do something right or play it over and over again until they perfect it, then they want to, for whatever reason, leap on people who aren't doing it 100% perfect.
But...
all the time. This weird elitism that goes on for the game that, due to its rep.
But Dark Souls, and I really like it a lot, it's not a perfect game. And I mean...
Especially the latter half of it.
Especially the latter half. It really, I think post Dan Orlando, it kind of doesn't fall apart, but it starts to. I would say that's sort of the defining point where it's like, things are not quite as great as they were.
Tell me about your favorite boss, Bed of Chaos.
Bed of Chaos is the one even the hardcore Dark Souls fans admit is terrible.
That's true. That's the one thing that a lot about Dark Souls divides us, makes us argue on the internet, leave spammy comments, but that one factor is something we can all get behind. It's the one thing that brings us all together and unites us.
I have a very high threshold, I feel, for video game bullshit.
Yeah.
And what happened was earlier in the game, I tried summoning with Bell Gargoyle. The NPCs kind of killed the boss for me, and I felt bad, and I played it again. This is like the third boss, and it's a mechanic you can do to fight bosses easier.
Right.
Because I felt like, you know what, I think I had it, I really wanted to try it myself. And for the rest of the game, I did not summon anyone for a boss to help me, except Bed of Chaos. I got really fucking fed up toward the end, and I'm just like, this is the stupidest fucking thing. It's a gimmick boss fight with instant death. So it's like...
not just instant death, but instant access to instant death with pits appearing just suddenly underneath you.
Yeah.
Or right beside you, right before you get swept by the hand.
Yeah, it's crazy it's hard to describe how bad this boss fight is.
It's just incredibly not fun.
For those of you who haven't played the game, you enter an arena, and there's a big tree guy.
Not just enter the arena, you just kind of, for whatever reason, surf down into it. Like, nothing happens.
Yeah, I don't understand that either, honestly.
Like, was there something that was supposed to be there, but then wasn't? No.
Yeah, like, there's a slope that your character's kind of sliding down. You can move left and right. There's branches. Nothing happens if you touch them.
You can hit the branches.
Yeah, but, yeah, they break, and that's it. And it's a fairly long slide for some reason. Not, like, crazy long, not, like, minutes, but, it's longer than... any other slopes like it I've seen in the game.
You would expect it to have a meaning.
You would expect to have some, like, DLC thing where you could skateboard on it, I suppose.
Yeah, or people holding up signs with numbers.
Yeah. So then you get into the boss arena, which is, I guess, roughly, like, semicircular, meaning, like, it's a half circle with the straight, flat part facing away from you,
It's an arena.
Yeah. And there's a big tree guy. And he's got big branch hands that he's sweeping across the ground with. But he can't quite reach you where you are. However, you have to run to two specific points in the arena on your far left and your far right where he can reach you. As you run there, bottomless pits just drop in front of you that will instant kill you if you run into them.
Well, actually, that's not entirely true.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Pits don't appear until after you hit one of the glowy things.
Right, so after
if you, like, the moment you turn out and you have to pretty much... loop all the way back around to the other side, that's when the pits start appearing around you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you're right, I'm sorry.
And you can just easily just walk right into it.
Yeah.
If you don't know what's coming, which you wouldn't.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Even then, when you know about them too, you have to navigate a path that puts you in the path where the boss can sweep you and knock you into the pit, which is what he's trying to do. It is a very hard timing challenge, and even
you either have to have a really powerful shield to just tank it, or you have to roll perfectly to dodge it.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing. And here's kind of the problem, too. The area before it that you're in, he's the boss of Lost Izalith, I believe.
Yeah. Probably the worst area in the game for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 2 checkpoints. The first one is very far away from the boss. You have to run through a danger zone kind of area, something like Norfairish, where your health's draining.
Right.
And you have to dodge very tough enemies. I guess you can fight them, but they're very, very big and very, very hard, and you're really better off running by them.
Yeah.
Then you're in a whole nother area where there's these really stupid little demon fat things that don't even hurt you. They do, but they're like shit enemies that just get in your way. It's annoying.
That's what they're called, shit enemies.
More or less. And then there's these Chaos Eaters, which are big, giant enemies, but again, aren't really anything to write home about,
They can eat you and you tornado digest inside them.
I'm sorry, there is something to write home about. That is a really funny thing that happens. They are part blender, and it is hilarious. It's hilarious because Dark Souls is kind of a dark game, more or less.
It does look like the character's having fun being eaten by those things.
And then that shit like that happens, and you just laugh.
It's like a carnival ride.
So basically, I would say maybe 3 minutes it takes you if you're trying to quote unquote speed run from that checkpoint all the way there. Possibly even 5. It's not short. You do all that just to get to a boss where it's possible you can get insta-killed in the first 10 seconds, then you gotta do it all over again.
Yeah.
The closer checkpoint is behind a hidden wall. Like a secret, And it's... that just... It annoys the shit out of me, because... And also, that closer checkpoint is not particularly close. You skip the danger zone with the big monsters.
Right.
You still have to go
There's also what's technically a shortcut between the Demon's Ruins and Lost Izalith.
Uh-huh.
But that's not really much closer. It does help you dodge the lava, though, which eats your equipment up. But
I found that, actually, toward the end. Because basically at the very end, I wanted to see one character's storyline play out, so I just looked that up. I was just like, where do I find...
Oh, Sigmar?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I knew he was in Blighttown, is one of his second to last places, and I'm just like, you know what, I do want to see what happens. Let's go to the last place or whatever, or the second, you know what I mean? I just looked up the checkpoint for the next place.
And unless you're like a map square style person, I just don't see how you would know, or even think to intuit, that, maybe I should go to Blighttown.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, but by the time Sigmire is in Blighttown, you're well past it.
You are, yeah. He does mention, if you go to Firelink Shrine, which you're likely to do, he does mention exploring below, I think.
Yeah, but that covers a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of underground shit.
That's the one very vague clue.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going somewhere in the game. All right, well...
But I doubt anyone's ever 100% the game without looking up how to do at least one thing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But toward the end, I do feel like Dark Souls... The second half is not as good as the first half.
It just feels rushed.
Yeah, it does.
Which I think accounts have pretty much confirmed that, yeah. Even From Software apologized for Bed of Chaos, by the way. I learned this during my second playthrough.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think someone told me during an interview where they asked, did you have a boss you wish you had improved or done better with? And they said, yeah, we didn't do a very good job with Bed of Chaos. That's kind of our bad.
It really...
So even they acknowledge that.
It really is a terrible boss.
Just terrible boss, terrible design, getting to it, everything.
I also do not agree, because some people also get mad if you miss something where they feel like, no, if you just read item descriptions and really pay attention, you'll be able to stop certain events or do certain things. I disagree. I think there is some stuff that is absolutely going to happen your first time through, and if it doesn't happen, you got kind of lucky.
Your first time through, I would wager you would never, spoiler alert, save Solaire.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I just don't see how it's possible you would do that blind on your first try.
Yeah. Well, what happened to me was, so there's something that happens to Firelink Shrine in the game. And, I mean, you just spoiled that. I don't know why I'm doing that. Okay, so this character, Lautrec, will
It's not really a spoil. It's a minor event in the game.
Yeah, you're right. So, you have the Firekeeper at Firelink Shrine. And Lautrec apparently doesn't like her, who's another NPC. And it doesn't matter if you save him or not. But as long as he's around, and once you ring the second bell, he kills the Firekeeper, you no longer have a checkpoint at Firelink Shrine, which is like your home base of the game.
Correct. Very inconvenient.
Right. A couple times before in the game, you can get an item called a Firekeeper Soul, which lets you upgrade your Estus Flasks. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, later in the game, you can encounter Lautrec again, more or less, and if you kill him, you get the Firekeeper Soul. So what I did was I said, oh, I have a Firekeeper Soul. Those increase my Estus Flask things. I'll go do that. But everyone's like, if you read the item description, it tells you can use that specific Firekeeper Soul to relight the fire at Firelink Shrine. Apparently, this is the only one of the multiple Firekeeper Souls, by the way, that does this. And if you read the item description, you actually just get a poem about the Firekeeper. It does not say anything about relighting the bonfire or bringing her back. So, I think the problem is that, yes, there is a lot in Dark Souls you can find if you're really looking, but not everything, and people assume...
That's the key, not everything.
Yeah, there is really some stuff that is obtuse to the point where I don't believe a reasonable player, or in that case specifically, even one who's combing almost everything would find except by, I guess, luck. You know?
Most of the important stuff that matters in the game, you can figure out on your own.
Yeah.
Like finishing the game, for instance.
Yeah. And one more thing about that Firekeeper thing is, later on in the game, you introduced me to a boss, Dark Sun Gwendolyn,
yes.
who I killed, and made a Firekeeper in Anor Londo mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
So I fought her, I killed her, I got her Firekeeper Soul. You can't bring her back, though.
Right.
So it really is that one specific Firekeeper Soul for that one event in the game. So I don't buy it at all.
They don't reincarnate easy.
They don't. And I don't want you to think I'm ragging too much on the game, because I was really blown away by it. Like, I really don't remember enjoying a game this much in a damn long time. It's just that, like...
but the cult-like praise you hear kind of makes you want to push back with, well, there are some problems.
Well, I think, though...
Minor as they may be in some cases, you still acknowledge them if you're a sane person.
But that's the problem, is, like, it's one thing to really like Dark Souls, it's another to, like, religiously worship it. And I really kind of think it's starting to get to that point, where if you really think this game is fucking flawless, and if you clipped through a wall, actually that was your fault. You know, and it's weird, because even if you look at Dark Souls discussions, you'll even see other people like, yeah, actually, I beat Bell Gargoyle because he fell off the roof, or, you know, just from time to time, things happen with the programming, and it's fine, you know? It's a big game. It's not easy to QA shit like that. I get it. But yeah, people are really crazy with it, to the point where it's like, I don't think they're going to be happy with Dark Souls 2, or they've already, I think, basically...
In their minds, the standard has been set.
Or in their minds, basically, their minds made up. Before they'd even played the game, Front Software could come out with an actually terrible game, and half of the fans are going to be like, I already love it because it is Dark Souls. Or they come out with a great game, and another half of the fandom will be like, I already hate it because it's not Dark Souls 1. You know, it's like, there's just something weird about it with video games and fandom that it's kind of just odd, you know?
I don't know if I agree with that. I think the fandom of Dark Souls 1 will be ready and willing to migrate. It
depends, though, right?
I think there's this really palatable excitement.
Maybe it'll tear the fandom in two, is the thing.
Maybe.
But you know there's going to be people who are like, this is not as good as 1, you know?
Sure.
And you know there's going to be the people who just blindly say, this is much better than 1.
But just on its surface, how it plays, it just looks so similar to the first one already that I think that alone will entice everyone.
Well, you know what? I have some suggestions for improvement on Dark Souls. Okay. I have a big one. Tell me what you think of this.
Okay.
I think Anor Londo should have been the final area of the game. Well, here's the deal. It's big, it's epic, it's unlike anything else, right?
So you don't like the brief walk to Gwyn, the true final area?
No, I do like that. And I'm not saying to take that out, per se.
Okay. Have that be part of Anor Londo?
Yeah. Or, you know what? You open up the doors at the very end, and before killing to the first flame, you're in Anor Londo. Then Ornstein and Smaug are kind of the second to final boss of the game. Then you do kill into the final flame.
And the final boss is Bed of Chaos.
Yes, the final boss is Bed of Chaos.
Yeah.
No,
Every enemy is Bed of Chaos.
Ornstein and Sma are a pretty great boss fight. You know.
Hey, let me ask you this: do you think Dark Souls would it be cool if Dark Souls had a boss rush option?
Yes, I do. I would love that.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Except for Bed of Chaos. I'm not even making a joke there. I think
boss rush as a separate mode minus Bed of Chaos, or kind of like Mega Man style, where you're at the kill into the first flame and you have to go boss, boss, boss.
I was thinking separate mode.
Probably so.
I think a boss rush would be a really not impossible, but that would be I think that's too challenging to have people do before the final boss. Like
bonfire before each one.
I guess, but I don't know. I feel like that could also be a little repetitive. And the tricky thing is you have to remember some of the bosses are optional. So, you know, it like you don't want to have Asylum Demon, Stray Demon, and Demon Fire Sage.
I want to fight them all simultaneously.
Well, actually, that I wouldn't want. No,
that's the real Dark Souls.
that wouldn't work though.
No, it'd work perfectly.
No,
name one thing that could go wrong if you fought all the bosses in Dark Souls at the same time.
All 26 bosses at once.
You fight all 26 bosses in the arena where you fight Dark Sun Gwendolyn.
You know what? Actually,
name one thing you can't.
I can't. You're right.
Bed of Chaos is the very end of that long hallway.
He just sweeps the bosses into a pit. That's the exploit.
He kills all the bosses for you.
Yeah, you just hide in a corner and then you have a surfing race with Ornstein. This is really funny if you've played Dark Souls, but if you haven't, just laugh with us. Okay, so maybe Anne Orlando is the final area. The game is a little too revolutionary. No, I don't know. I'll tell you another area. Two other areas I did not like. Crystal Cave. You know, and I hear the big defense for Crystal Cave people give me is that it's short, which is then like, well, then did it need to be in there?
I don't remember ever having any real issue with it.
Well, okay, it's a very good looking area. There's all of 2 enemy types in the whole thing.
Yeah,
one of which
I wasn't a fan of the clams.
No, nobody likes the clams. Oh, 3. I'm sorry, I forgot about the clams. But there's also the crystal golems who you've seen before, and Moonlight Butterfly, which you've fought before and are probably going to avoid this time around. But then there are invisible floors over a bottomless pit.
Sure.
And why? Like, what does that add to the experience?
Encourages you to be patient, to watch your step, to examine the environment.
All right.
Think before you proceed.
All right, sure, but I don't know.
Pay attention to soapstone messages.
I suppose. I just don't think it really adds anything. It's like an invisible wall maze if you've ever played those in video games, and they're terrible when you do. But now it's an invisible floor area, and you die instantly if you mess something up.
Well, I mean, once you know that the floors pretty much go straight.
Yeah, once you know that, but then that kind of just trivializes it altogether. Like,
look, Dark Souls is a perfect game, Slowbeef.
I'm not,
I won't hear this heresy.
I didn't mind the beginning of Crystal Cave when you're going down the crystals and fighting stuff. It was a cool looking area and all that. I just feel like the invisible bridges were a terrible idea. I don't really see they start out really fucking annoying until you learn where the 2 you need are, and then it's just, who cares about them now? You know? I mean,
I can see where you're coming from, but...
Well, you have to keep in mind, too, I'm talking about from, like, kind of a game design argument standpoint. You know, there's no right answer, and it's not like I'm saying I'm absolutely right, because if you did take out Crystal Cave, that kind of fucks with a lot of other things. You'd have to really think if you want to do that.
Crystal Cave also fits thematically with what's going on in the area.
This is true. I feel like maybe it could have been redesigned. I would rather be going down Crystal Cave on the crystals like I am at the beginning. You
want to have more of a crystal attic.
Sure, yeah.
Or maybe even a crystal basement.
Crystal basement, sure. Why
crystal
not?
basement, yeah.
Yeah, it could have been a really. It's a good looking area.
Crystal townhome.
Sure.
Yeah. That'd be even shorter.
Yeah. Just add a different gimmick.
Crystal condo. Then you have the alliteration going for it.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a Mario level.
Tomb of the Giants.
I've gained a whole new hatred for Tomb of the Giants Are you familiar with the concept of gravelording?
No. Tell me what that is.
Gravelording is a New Game Plus phenomenon. There's a covenant you can join only in New Game Plus that is helmed by Gravelord Nito. There's a way, you sleep in a coffin in the catacombs, then you basically warp to where he is, but you don't fight him. Instead, you kneel to him and you join his covenant. And what this covenant lets you do is it lets you infest 3 adjacent player worlds, Gravelord them. And what that does is it spawns a whole bunch of new phantom enemies that are similar to enemies that are in whatever area the player is in. And then they're bigger, they hit harder, they have more health. There's adds to the quantity of enemies in the area, and just makes it a shitload harder.
It makes it a shitload harder on the other 3 players?
On the other 3 players. And the way you stop that from happening is somewhere, and I'm not quite clear on the mechanics behind where the summon placement sign is, but you find a black summon sign, and you warp to the Gravelord's world. Any combination of the 3 players can do that. You kill the Gravelord, then your world gets clean. It's a neat concept.
Oh, is that... There is like a weird sign I saw once that was something about disasters,
yeah. I don't know why you saw that.
Yeah, because I was in the regular New Game.
Yeah, I don't know why you saw that, but it's not supposed to happen. Supposedly it only infests, or maybe it's just like if you're super high level, maybe? I don't know.
I wasn't very high level at Tomb of the Giants. The DLC... I was over level toward the end of the game. The DLC is what did it, because I was kind of far away from anything that I could buy, you know? So I was just like, I had tons of souls from the bosses. I was like, I guess I'll level up. You know what I mean?
Right.
I love the DLC, by the way. I don't think I have any complaints about the DLC.
DLC is really good. I enjoyed it.
Except maybe I have a general...
Especially the boss fights.
I have a general sort of inkling with Dark Souls, and I mean, really... Oh, actually, no, there is one merchant in DLC, I'm sorry. But anyway, I do have one kind of thing I would... let's discuss this. Tell me if you think I'm crazy. I feel like the checkpoint should be closer to the bosses in general. Not every boss, but
I agree with you completely on that, yeah.
Yeah, I hate fighting him, trying to fight him a second time and having to run through.
Yeah, I talked about that in my stream once, because it's like, you know, you earned your way to the boss, you figured it out. I don't think there's much reason to retread that ground, especially if it's a really hard boss and you die repeatedly before you learn how to do it.
Right.
Because then it just becomes more work just getting back there.
Yeah, like Anna Rolando...
But no, it's part of the challenge, slowbeef. It's part of what makes the game what it is.
But that's the thing, like Anna Rolando, because I opened the big front doors, I figured that was a shortcut from the first bonfire to Ornstein and Small. Apparently, there's a second bonfire that's closer, but you gotta go through 2 Silver Knights to get there.
Actually, you're not meant to do this, but you can jump the spiral staircase.
Uh-huh.
And if you jump at just the right time, you can land on that pathway where there's a Titanite demon on one side of you and the shortcut room on the other side.
Yeah.
That gets you there and very quickly.
But you still have to contend with the Silver Knight sniper and the Royal Sentinel guy, right?
Yeah, unless you just rush to the door and dodge him.
Yeah. But that's what I've tried and see what happens to me.
Hey.
All right. Yeah, all right. I'm sorry for everyone who's not into Dark Souls. Why this, for this part of the pod.
It's a debrief. Yeah, that you're done with the game.
More or less.
You still gonna buy 2 day 1?
Oh yeah, I'm just an absolute day 1 purchase for me.
On console?
Yeah,
or are you gonna wait?
So. I think I'm gonna get console.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna have to try to isolate myself from all the spoilers, all the chat about the game.
I might
plug my ears for 2 weeks to 3 months.
I might do both, because I ended up getting my copy of Dark Souls used, which means From Software didn't see any money from me. And Rurs actually bought me Prepare to Die edition on Steam. I still ended up spending $10 on the DLC on the console version, because honestly I wanted to give them...
$10?
Yeah, or 5, I forget. But either way, I wanted to give them something, because I really, really loved the game.
Definitely.
Yeah. Again, the second half could have used something, but, that's okay.
For the price of the game, they give you a lot.
Oh, yeah. If the game had ended at Anna Rolando, I still would have been happy, like, in terms of length, honestly. And there is so much that's completely hidden. Painted World of Aramis, Dark Sun Gwendolyn boss fight.
The Painted World was supposedly either the first or one of the first places they designed.
Mm-hmm.
But then they couldn't fit it into the main world they had planned and just had to kind of shuttle off to an alternate universe type place.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah.
What else? Nothing else. Ariamis, obviously, DLC is hard to find, you know.
Right.
I think, so, there were two things I wanted to bring up. The first thing I wanted to bring up was the reason I think I was really blown away at this game when there was a point when I said to you on IM, like, I have 5 things I have to do. I have to fight the Titanite Demon, fight the Capra Demon, fight Moonlight Butterfly, check out New Londo Ruins, and one other thing I can't think of. And I finished like 3. I did 3 of those things, and I had 3 more. And they were like whole areas to explore.
Right.
And it's like there's a very fine line with a game like that, or of having a player feel lost and not know what to do next, or making them feel kind of like they're exploring something.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, Dark Souls managed to be the latter. It could very easily have been a thing where it's like, I don't know where to go, this game is fucking confusing. But for me, it was like playing The Legend of Zelda again, before we had like the internet to look shit up.
That's what I'm going to try to do with Dark Souls 2. I'm not going to stream the game, tweet about it, broadcast shit. I'm just going to be by my lonesome and just see what happens.
You're not going to record it and like show it to the internet?
No, maybe if I played a second time, but I want my first time to be like the first time I played Dark Souls and Demon Souls.
I understand.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to bring up as a debatable point, and then we'll move on from Dark Souls.
Okay.
No, this is the thing I was thinking about a lot. You know, so from Demon Souls, apparently, there's a sort of infamous message called "The real Demon Souls starts here."
Oh, yes.
I have a theory here. I think I know where the real Dark Souls begins.
Okay.
So hear me out here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have your tutorial area. You have Firelink Shrine. Or, excuse me, Northern Undead Asylum.
Yep. And
teaching the controls, you maybe fight, 5 hollows in the whole thing. There's 1 trap. Still, it's very easy. All that stuff. And then you have to fight the Asylum Demon for real. Okay. And most modern difficult games, they are set up the same way. Typically, a lot of people, if they play Ninja Gaiden for the Xbox, which is also released for PS3, I think, or it's Ninja Gaiden Sigma, and all that, will agree that the first level of the game, because that's a notoriously hard game, it is pretty easy up until the boss, Mirai, is an extremely hard fight. That's basically in Ninja Gaiden, that's where people say, the gloves are now off, the real game has begun.
Okay.
You know? So, alright. You get to Firelink Shrine, you beat Asylum Demon, and he's not so hard, but you start getting swarmed by hollows pretty early on, you know. Even as you're going through Undead Burg, there's a bunch of them. Sure. And it's a really hard game, and feel like...
Yeah, they hit hard.
Yeah. So I feel like at that Undead Burg, maybe, is about the point where the game is usually saying, okay, this is a difficult game, we're not gonna baby you anymore. And I feel like that it kind of lulls you into that. It makes you feel like it's a normal, difficult game right around Undead Burg. Fight Taurus Demon, he's a pretty good incremental step up from Asylum Demon. And then you move on to Bell Gargoyle, you know? And by now you've faced a bunch of challenges, and you feel like you've got a good taste for how difficult Dark Souls is. Bell Gargoyle appears like an incremental step up from Taurus Demon, but he flies. He's got a little more reach with the long spear weapon. He seems like everything is progressing right. Halfway through the fucking fight, the second one comes in, and it is this extremely clear, elegant, awesome way of the game saying, we are not fucking around. This is a hard damn video game.
Sticking out the finger.
This is what it is, though, right? Because it made you feel like Undead Burg was pretty fucking hard. No, we're not fucking with you. 2 bosses at once, go. It's like awesome.
I think the first time where that was really shoved in my face was the first time I came across Capra Demon. Because I stepped in that arena, he ran right up to me, closed the distance in a couple seconds, 1 hit, dead. I mean, that was the first time where I was like, I don't even know how to debrief myself from that fight. I don't even know what went wrong.
See, it's funny because, you fought him after Bell Gargoyle, I'm assuming?
Yes.
So, for me, Bell Gargoyle, I was having a little trouble, but I had most of a handle on. The minute the second one came in, I, like, backed off, and I'm like, I have to come up with a new strategy on the fly right now. And I didn't.
That's true, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, and it's, what I like about it is, it's just very clear. Even if you don't know much about Dark Souls and you're just watching it, if you have some idea that these bosses are hard, they're just like, here's 2. I'm just like, that was brilliant. I see what you're saying about Copper Demon, because the fight starts and ends pretty goddamn quick the first time.
Yeah, if you're not expecting it, yeah.
Yeah. The one thing is people say, though, Copper Demon... Well, Tectalon, for example, thought Copper Demon's kind of a cheap boss. Like, it's kind of more about the stairs and the dogs than it is Copper Demon. Which, I don't know that I totally agree with, but I see that's the big problem with the first start of the fight, basically. And if you take care of that, then you've got a better fight with them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, like... Alright, Asylum Demon's a tutorial boss. Like, we talked about Taurus Demon, Belgargo, Moonlight Butterfly, I did like the boss fight. I don't think it was a bad boss fight. I like that the bosses are all very, or not very,
they're
like...
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah, they are. They're almost very different. Like, I mean, Demon Fire Sage is Stray Demon, pretty much. Yeah, and
Well, it's that whole Demon Ruins Ezelith area where the ideas start to run a little dry. Or things just get rushed.
I didn't mind Demon Ruins so much, and,
Yeah, Demon's Ruins just felt like a bland fire level to me.
You know what part felt like a bad Doom mod? Was when there were, like, 5 or 6 Taurus demons in a group. But that, like, really felt kind of like amateur, like, Arrow, where, like, some kid who's playing with a dark...
That's some Kaizo shit right there.
Yeah, or it's like yeah, exactly, like, chain chomp, chain chomp, chain chomp. Yeah. Like, because it isn't challenging, you just lure them out one at a time,
Now, if you played the aggression mod of Dark Souls...
Is that where everything runs at you?
Just the aggro range for everything expands immensely, like miles. Like, you enter an area and, like, all the enemies in the area will just come towards you. You should look up some footage of it on YouTube. It's pretty funny.
I'll check it out. And that reminded me of a YouTube video about Dark Souls I wanted to talk about, but...
Was it that 90s-ish trailer for Dark Souls 2?
No,
the fan trailer someone made? That was awesome.
That is awesome. Please, it's not really a fan trailer for Dark Souls 2. Oh, no, it is. Yes, it is. If it's on my Twitter, I tweeted it. I had retsupurae retweet it. It is so fucking funny. You got to check it out. Right now, Rich Ease, which is spelled Ritcheyz, is playing a soul level 1 Dark Souls on Something Awful. The video that I saw was somebody did a no heal, no bonfire stream.
No fun stream.
Yeah. It's very interesting. It's 3 hours long, but it's a skill run. The guy doesn't have a ton of commentary, which is fine because, again, it's not, you know what I mean?
It's a skill display.
Exactly. It's not meant to be like a Let's Play or a thing like that. The one thing that really bugs me is he does a face cam with a green screen. And
what's on the green screen?
He's just sitting there.
Oh, it's just transparent?
Yeah, it's just a transparent background. Like, the game's in set, he's kind of not really occluding it, but he's just sort of bobbing his head. He plays Kirby music and shit like that. And it's like, and he'll hum along and stuff, but, like, and it's like, again, it's a skill.
It's Kirby music that pumps me up for a challenging Dark Souls run.
More or less. But, like, his name's Lobos Jr. It's a good video, except I really found him distracting.
He's in the way.
Yeah, he really got in the way. It's kind of...
If you're not even doing... I see why you would want to use a face cam if you were talking, like why you think that might be worth including, but why include it if you're just there? Like, what's that ad?
Well, we were talking about it in the Sandcastle with face cams, and I guess people are like, maybe the general idea is you are interested in seeing the LPer. Maybe you do want to know who this is behind.
Okay, but why? Why would you be interested in that? Or like, if you like just for a fleeting moment of curiosity, then that curiosity is met. You're just staring at a dude for 3 hours.
Well, that's the thing, because I don't understand why he needs to be there the whole time. Maybe at the beginning you want to see him just because maybe you're interested, just no, for whatever reason. But it really, I kind of wish it weren't there. Like,
I mean, after a while, I'd just be uncomfortable staring at some dude saying nothing, just staring ahead.
Please tell me, I think his video is totally worth checking out. It's, again, Lobos Jr., like LOBOS space JR. If you look up No Heal, No Bonfire Run on Dark Souls, it is interesting, like, the stuff he does. And, when he does talk about the game, he has interesting thing to say because he's super knowledgeable about it, but it's what I don't want. The thing I don't like about scare cams in general is they sort of teach people, like, you should always include this, but it doesn't make any sense for things that aren't, like, the PewDiePie show or whatever. Sure. Or where the LPer is the personality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is no personality there.
Right, exactly. Like, I mean, seriously, like, PewDiePie's Dark Souls, I did watch that because I was curious, And it's a highlight reel. It's like something, I guess his fans asked him to do it, and he was just, and it's whatever. It's just little clips of him playing every now and again. You're obviously not watching for Dark Souls because he cuts out huge portions of it. You're watching for him. So fine, I don't like this. I don't like scare cams, whatever. I think of him, whatever. But okay, it at least makes a little more sense there. The problem is I think people are starting to take away, no, we should have scare cams. That's part of Let's Play. But if you're doing like a skill demonstration or something like that where people are very clearly there for the gameplay, it just gets in the way.
Yeah, then it's even more pointless.
Yeah. Now this is an interesting thing. I don't mind it so much with speed demo archives. And I think the reason is...
You mean like the community events they have?
Yeah, because they're showing an audience and there's a group of them there. It feels less self-indulgent.
Well, and the event itself is a community-driven thing.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that interactivity would be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like Sinister 1 did this awesome playthrough of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out blindfolded. Sure, I would get it there because you'd like to see that the guy is actually blindfolded. I understand that. And again, I don't want to rag on Lobos too much because it is a cool video. It's just like, it really didn't need to be there, and I'm not quite sure why he thought it outside of, well, other people are doing this,
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where it is, I guess. Because then you see even weirder Let's Plays now where people are like, there's a group of them on a couch, and one guy I saw wasn't even wearing shoes. He just has his bare fucking foot pointed at the camera, and it's like...
Okay, that's just fucking gross.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Don't do that.
Right.
Feet are disgusting.
Thank you. I didn't know you felt that way. I'm in total fucking agreement.
Feet are fucking gross.
They are fucking gross.
Do you know where feet have been?
Terrible places.
I check them frequently, I know.
Second only to ass. They're the worst part on the body. No,
Which is why in Dark Souls 2, there will be a boss made out of ass and feet.
By the way, those maggots really creep me the fuck out in Dark Souls.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
Randomly watching one of your videos. Saw that.
Yeah, I'm not that bad with bugs in real life, really, but there's certain kinds of bugs that really fuck with me. Centipedes are one, which a certain boss in Dark Souls later also was like...
A demon version of such a thing.
Yeah, I really did not like that at all.
What is it about centipedes and maggots, though, compared to other bugs?
Maggots I don't really... maggots are gross, obviously.
Well, yeah.
You know what it was? It was more like those kinds of maggots in Dark Souls that had the little pincers and the tiny... I'm imagining they have the tiny little legs, although they move like inchworms, so I don't know. It's the little legs and the movement that fuck with me. It's just good.
Okay, so I need to ditch that RTX cosplay idea I had then.
Roaches I can't stand. They bother me. But since buying a hat... Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just kill them if I see them.
Right. We used to get house centipedes in our old condo because we lived in Squalor. No, I mean, and they're like... Did
you live in a centipede neighborhood?
No, you kind of are supposed to like them because they kill bugs, but...
Sure.
So, my wife, who was, my girlfriend at the time, like, oh, can you kill that? And I'm like, damn it. Now I gotta act brave like a man, and I can't. So I would, grab something really big and try to squash it without looking.
You charge at it like the Capra Demon.
Right. But, nowadays I can pick up bugs and things like that. I don't care as much. Certain ones still bother me, though. I don't think I'm ever going to pick up a centipede once in my life.
Well, that's what puzzles me is the specific bugs. I figured if people didn't like bugs, it was kind of a broad spectrum.
See, it's a weird thing, too. Spiders have never bothered me.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
That's I don't even get at all, except I guess maybe because they eat bugs. I was always happy with that as a kid or whatever, but I don't know. So, yeah, there is that.
You kill mice frequently.
Oh, God, yes. I had to kill two.
Controversial topic coming up, listeners.
We live in a foresty kind of area. We have a woodchuck. He's awesome. You
live in Darkroot Garden. Yeah.
That's right. He lives out back, though. He just waddles through. He doesn't care. He's awesome. Waddles through the house, I mean. No, I'm joking. But,
It's your wife.
Yeah. My wife came home. There was a mouse that ran across the kitchen. We live in Squalor, like I said. Mm-hmm. No, so... This is really fucked up. So we got peppermint spray because they don't like that. We plugged up his hole with steel wool. We found it behind the fridge or whatever. So here's the thing: we gave that mouse a few chances. So my wife, we bought those little supersonic things they have too to track mice. But whatever, this one mouse was not going away. My wife's like, picks me up from the bus stop, and she's like, we're going to Kmart. We're buying traps. We're killing that mouse. Okay. Go to Kmart. Ask this guy, his little weaselly guy, where his traps are. So he shows
The guy was a weasel?
He was, well, they had the snap traps. You know those, right? Those, like,
Oh, yeah.
they're kind of what you imagine.
The ones
they're
you
like,
see in the cartoons.
Exactly. They have the cartoon snap traps, and they have the glue traps. And glue traps, I find, are a lot meaner, you know, because it's a very sticky adhesive that the mouse gets trapped on and can't move. And then if you don't find them or something, it'll starve to death or something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's kind of a terrible thing. So basically, my wife's like, I'd rather a snap trap because then it's at least over and done. And the guy's like, you don't want a snap trap. Because the snap trap will splash down that mouse and its guts will come shooting out of its mouth and you'll have it everywhere.
They're that powerful?
Oh, we found out later from my father-in-law that, no, that is absolutely not true.
Holy shit.
Well, here's the crazier
It's a sonic-powered mousetrap, perhaps.
Well, then the guy got really fucking creepy. Well, what he's saying was, like, what I do is I get a glue trap, then I take, like, a hammer and I just beat the shit out of the mouse.
Whoa.
And I thought at first he was, like, screwing with my wife because she was getting kind of squeamish, you know, like, oh, haha.
Like any good salesman would do.
Yeah, right? Except she kept going on about it. And then there was, like, a point where it's really uncomfortable because he's talking about how many fucking mice he's killed and how, like, his neighbor had one in a glue trap and he killed it for her. And, like, he's like, I don't mind killing them at all. I hate the fucking thing.
I'm wanted in all 50 states.
It was fucking scary, dude. So, fucking... So, yeah, he convinced us to get the glue trap, which I wish he hadn't. Because then, my wife makes me wake up earlier than she does. So I go downstairs, and sure enough... the mouse is caught in there and he's like shuffling around and stuff. And so I put it in a plastic bag and got a hammer and just, not a great start to the day.
How did that make you feel?
Really bad, honestly.
How many souls did you get?
Like 20.
Oh, it's not enough.
It dropped to humanity though, so it was kind of worth it. You know, it's awful, but you know, you can't. When I was a kid, when I was 16, we had mice, and I had one in the glue trap. I actually went out to a park and took a stick and pried it out of the glue trap. If for whatever reason you would like to do something like this, apparently I found out later vegetable oil will get the glue off. That said, apparently they always find your way back to your house. So
you did the right thing then,
I guess. And then just before this podcast, there's electronic traps that electrocute the mice. They're run by 2 AA batteries. You smear peanut butter in the back.
Mouse killing is getting sophisticated.
Yeah, they go in the back and they get zapped. And basically, there's a little light on top, starts blinking green when you caught one. So just before the podcast, I took a look, and sure enough, so I had to go out and kind of like dump it out. And I don't know why that really fucking bothered me.
So you don't discard the whole trap, but you remove the charred carcass?
The trap very proudly advertises good for 100 plus rodents.
Wow, imagine the testing.
I'd rather not.
101st mouse. No.
The guy at Kmart who sold me the fucking glue traps is probably a QA tester for that. So long story short, I'm done with Dark Souls. I did play Demon Souls.
So yeah, that's an interesting regression.
Yeah,
what do you think going from that to the prequel?
It's weird now that I have this.
The predecessor.
Right. It's weird having this perspective now because I do wonder about people who played Demon Souls first and then played Dark Souls, is that what you did?
Hello. Yes.
Yeah. Hello.
So except Dark Souls was what, 2009? Or I'm sorry, Demon Souls, 2009?
Demon Souls 2009, yeah.
Yeah, so that 5 years ago that I played that, I hardly remember the game.
It's, okay, my perspective, it feels like knockoff Dark Souls. It's so weird. It, like, doesn't look quite right. The animations are, like, faster. It's a little faster paced, I'm finding. It's a little more action, you know? Dark Souls you want to kind of take your time with and think things out and go through. Demon Souls, I just feel like everything is faster.
But sloppier?
Kinda, I guess. I only beat the first boss, and people tell me that that's like there's more, like it gets harder.
It does. I do remember some very distinctly hard/bullshit areas. or bosses for that matter. Nothing bad of chaos level though, I don't think.
Yeah, I hope not, because that was terrible. But like the first area, I pretty much just took my weapon two-handed and just ran through and killed everything.
Yeah, I do remember stuff doesn't hurt you as much.
No.
Like
well,
Dark Souls, like Hollow and Undead Bird can hit you once and 25% of your health's gone.
yeah, or they have those like that insane combo if you're not ready for it, just pretty much like will wipe you out.
Right.
Dark Souls, I had a very hard time at the beginning, kind of progressing through, and it's like you really incrementally, little by little, get farther ahead. Demon Souls, though, I just blazed through the first level. So I'm kind of interested to know then. I mean, I've heard that level is particularly easy. Did you have trouble with Demon Souls like I did with Dark Souls?
I did. I do remember that some very specific areas I had problems in. Mm-hmm. See, I want to say world. See, the worlds are divided in numbers rather than naming them specific places. Or when people refer to them, they say level 5-1, 5-2, 1-1, 1-2, whatever.
Oh, I understand. I didn't know that.
Oh, I'm sorry for spoiling.
No, it's okay. I went through, is it like, the palace, I'm kind of like on the name.
Boletarian?
Yeah, yep, that's it. And the boss was Phalanx.
Ah, yes. Oh, yeah. The thing that's like those things in New Londo.
No, Ariamus. Yeah, Phalanx.
You know in New Londo there's those giant glob things that poke spears out at you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but like, there's an actual Phalanx in Ariamus.
Okay.
And that is kind of what it reminded me of. Like, they're like kind of blobby soldiers and stuff that throw spears and
No, I was thinking in terms of size, yeah.
Gotcha. No, you're right now that you mention it, though, that kind of thing sort of reminds me of it, but I think the Phalanx in Ariamus is closer. I don't know. At any rate, it wasn't, yeah, I don't know, it wasn't hard. It didn't feel right to me. So in the beginning of Demon Souls 2, you face, I guess, technically a boss like called Vanguard, who you're almost pretty much meant to die to.
Vanguard. Oh, in the tutorial area?
Yeah. At the end of the tutorial.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what like sends you to the Nexus and starts the game, I guess.
Right. Oh, yeah. Because then you hollow, or soul form.
Or
you become ethereal.
Sure. I guess you do. But Vanguard looks like a really terrible version of Asylum Demon. Like, terrible. Like
cartoony?
Kinda. I just want to look him up just to make sure I'm not... I only saw him for a few seconds. I'll send you an image. Maybe we'll put it in the... actually, he doesn't look that bad. Here it is. Yeah, he looks awful. So yeah, if you're here, just do a Google image search for Demon Souls Vanguard, and look in not the first image, because the first image makes him look cool. Like, he's got like 3 light up eyes, and he's kind of like, he's almost, you know what it is? He's almost like a character model that wasn't fully textured.
Oh, I'm starting to remember now.
Here, I'll send you the picture. It's like, he looks bad, to be frank with you. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe it's because I'm coming off Dark Souls that had these incredibly detailed bosses and everything. He just looks kind of like he's missing something.
Like he was 75% completed and then they stopped.
Kinda, yeah. Like, I don't know, like his glowing eyes, and then his teeth look kind of comically goofy. I wasn't feeling that at all. Like, Asylum Demon's a big fat thing, but it's like...
It looks like something you'd see in Claymation.
Yeah, good call. It totally does. So, seeing that as your sort of end-of-tutorial boss, I was like, what? Now, that said, I mean, the Nexus, that looked very cool. The Palace, the first area, looked, it was grand in scale, though it was very, very long without a checkpoint.
Well, that's the thing that I think you should know. There's no real bonfires in Demon Souls.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
So the archstones are kind of like your Mario flagpoles that divide sections of the level. And you can go back to each of those sections from the Nexus. But you need to think in terms of shortcuts.
Yeah, so
the game's pretty well designed with giving you shortcuts that go back to the first archstone, so you can go there, rest, and proceed with where you left off.
Yeah, I kind of got that impression because the first boss is technically right by the Archstone behind a gate, and your
Right.
kind of object is to go through the palace to open that gate. So, yeah, I'd have to see, I'm interested to see that more, because, again, I felt like Dark Souls bonfires could be set too far away from the bosses, like we discussed. So, yeah, it just felt very odd coming off Dark Souls, because, like, there's a boss that's not a boss, there's an enemy that's kind of akin to the Black Knight. It's like a knight with like a blue glowing kind of face.
Oh yeah, there are blue ones and red ones. Yeah.
Yeah. And the red ones like killed me right away.
Don't they make really funny sounds?
I played when I streamed it, so I played with the volume low so my mic wouldn't catch it.
Well, I do remember one distinct sound was just the grunts. So when you go back and review your video, you'll probably hear a lot of.
I kind of remember that. Yeah. It's so I'm not trying to judge it yet because again I've only played the first through. I'm a little underwhelmed, to be honest, right now.
With the perspective that you came from, that seems reasonable. Yeah,
of course. But that's the tricky thing about fandoms and stuff, because I'm afraid I'll say that and then people will be like, "What the fuck are you talking? You don't know what you're talking about." Whereas I'm readily admitting, no, I don't know what I'm talking about yet. I'm just talking about the impression I currently have, which
I think the culty enthusiasm's on Dark Souls now. I don't think you'd hear too many people leaping to defend everything about Demon Souls.
Yeah, I guess not. It's like, I don't understand though. It's like you can't have these video game discussions nowadays because it's like people just get angry over this stuff, and it's like, you didn't make the game. It's okay, I don't know.
They like the game so much that it becomes an extension of their personalities.
I guess
if you offend the game, you offend the person.
But like Battletoads,
you talk shit. Go ahead.
I mean, let's be honest. Some of the level design's just out now.
Is perfect. Yeah, you're right.
What's the one?
Flawless.
Klinger Winger, the one where you're going around the level.
That level's garbage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's fine. Snatcher? Come on, could I have picked the worst game to love? It's fucking menus. I mean, how stupid am I that I like that? But I do. It's like a fucking 3x3 grid is your action scene. Thanks. Good job, Kojima. No, you know what I mean. It's like, it's not a big deal. But I feel like there are people who are, even with Snatcher or Battletoads, are just like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, given the time frame, Klinger Winger is excellent, or whatever.
I can do it blindfolded.
That level is so awful. Why would that? I don't really get Battletoads sometimes.
The one thing I'll say about Battletoads, level variety, they did a good job with that, right? No one level is like the other.
Absolutely right. And actually, to be fair, I think Dark Souls was pretty good at that too. The levels themselves,
especially the Klinger Winger level in Dark Souls.
That was great, honestly.
They had to go to before you fought Better Chaos.
Absolutely. Oh, Klinger Winger. So
the not turbo tunnel level, but the one that's like that, only you're flying instead of on the bikes. Mm-hmm. That's pretty shitty too.
Oh yeah, where you're on the jets, right?
Yeah,
and it's kind of like a side scroller.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Turbo Tunnel, I mean, is what it is, but I feel like the jet one was kind of like you had to just know in advance what to do.
Yeah, exactly. You have to memorize exactly where it appears, especially at the very end, because you have to go right up to the top and like immediately another pathway opens, but you have to go all the way down, and there's no time to react before you need to start moving.
Right.
Like literally 0 time. You have to know it's there.
Yeah, and I think that's bad kind of. I think it's bad design in a way. Like I feel like with games, you should, at least in theory, be able to finish the game your first time. I mean, not really, but like in theory. You know what I mean?
You should get lucky.
I guess so. Well, I mean, another thing I liked about Bell Gargoyle fight is I hung back for a bit and saw kind of his moveset, and I sucked and I lost. But at least you can kind of do that. Even Nordstein and Small, yeah, there's a little luck there. But I did last a bit with them my very first time. I didn't get any hits in, but you at least kind of get a feel for what they do.
I want to hear from somebody who beat Bed of Chaos on their first try. I want to find this saint.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Bed of Chaos, you can't really... No, you know what I mean?
I mean, there are ways you can make the fight a little easier. Like after you hit each weak spot, you can quit out of the whole game.
What?
and then restart, and you'll be outside the fog door.
Oh, really?
So then you don't have to completely go all the way around to get to weak spot number 2.
Oh, that's... Really?
Yeah. And then you hit weak spot number 2, you quit out, then you can go straight for the middle.
I hated that boss so much.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Everybody, it makes it so easy.
Well, that is part of good game design, is when you have to quit out of the game to make a boss fight more fair.
Exactly.
Well, we can... do you want to keep going, by the way?
We could keep going and divide this into 2 podcasts.
Maybe we could do that, or one big one, who knows.